Senator Urquhart. Senator Fifield.
Thank you, Madam Acting Deputy President. Now, I know that there is a Tasmanian state election only about 10 days away, but it's still no excuse or justification for Senator Urquhart to misrepresent what Senator Bushby has said in relation to the NBN in Tasmania before the election. Now, I'll leave it to Senator Bushby to do a forensic dissection of the misrepresentation of Senator Urquhart, and I very much look forward to Senator Bushby having the opportunity.
Order.
And I very much look forward to listening to Senator Bushby as he has the opportunity to set the record straight as a result of the misrepresentations of those opposite. But I just want to start, I guess, at a more of a macro level to start with, Madam Acting Deputy President, to put the NBN as a national venture into a bit of context. And I think it would be fair to say that never before has so much been spent on so few for so little when it comes to the NBN nationwide. Minister Turnbull has likened the NBN in the scope and scale of Labor's mismanagement to that of the State Bank debacle in Victoria and the State Bank debacle in South Australia. And I think it will be shown in the fullness of time when the cost of the NBN and Labor's mismanagement is tallied up that it will be greater than those particular financial disasters. I think it's very difficult to underestimate just how badly it was mismanaged and what the cost to the Australian people will be. And I must say I stand in great admiration of Minister Turnbull and his efforts to bring the NBN back onto a sustainable footing and to put the NBN in a position where it will be able to start seriously rolling out a national broadband network to the Australian people. And that's been the great lie perpetrated by those opposite, is that Labor is for a national broadband network and that the coalition is against a national broadband network. That has never been true. We are for a national broadband network. Everyone in Australia is for a national broadband network. The question is how you deliver a national broadband network quickly, at lowest cost to the taxpayer, and in a way that delivers for consumers a product that is within their reach. That is all this debate has ever been about in relation to the National Broadband Network. We are for the National Broadband Network.
And so is Mr Crocker.
Madam Acting Deputy President, it's important to note that Labor's plan would have cost $29 billion more than they had let on before the election, and would have increased monthly internet bills by up to 80%, or $43 a month. And it's very important that I make this point, and that is everyone in Tasmania will still receive the National Broadband Network. And I want to repeat that again. Everyone in Tasmania will still receive the National Broadband Network. And our job, the job of those of us on this side of the chamber in government, is to do that sooner than would have happened under the Australian Labor Party, to do it at less cost to the taxpayer than would have been the case under the Australian Labor Party. And what we're going to do is incorporate technologies into the NBN that can be readily upgraded and are already delivering high-speed broadband to families in other countries, and we'll be able to do just that. We are on course to deliver more NBN connections to Tasmanian homes and businesses this calendar year than over the entire 5 years since the rollout began. Now, Premier Giddings in Tasmania is attempting to distract attention. You can understand it. They've been in government for 16 years. They've been in alliance with the Greens, something those opposite know about very well. And so you can't be critical of Premier Giddings for wanting to distract from the fact that they've been there for 16 years, for wanting to distract from the fact that they had been in alliance with the Greens and they've done one of these quickie faux divorces that those opposite have done from the Greens, but we know that the Greens and Labor are actually secretly still cohabitating. They're trying to pretend that, no, we've gone our separate ways, we don't know each other, but when it comes to the political night, we know where they are. They're together under the same roof, where they feel most at home. Madam Acting Deputy President, from the middle of July 2013, there were virtually no houses passed in the state with fibre. Let me repeat that. In July 2013, just before the last election, there were virtually no houses passed in the state with fibre. Now, there were reasons for this. There are always reasons, Madam Acting Deputy President, for everything. There was the delays due to asbestos, and there were ongoing issues with the contractor there, Vision Stream. Now, it's a matter of public record that Vision Stream asked for more money in Tasmania. They were the ones who said that they couldn't complete the job under the terms of the contract that they had already signed. So, as a result, there was signed an amending agreement for 16 fibre servicing area modules to get the rollout back on track in December. And there were good reasons for doing this, Madam Acting Deputy President. The objective was to get that provider and to get the rollout back on track. And I'm very happy to report that with premises already passed, the number of homes and businesses passed by fibre by the end of the year will come to about a third of the premises in the state. We are on course to deliver more NBN connections to Tasmanian homes and businesses this calendar year, than over, as I've said, the entire 5 years since the rollout began. Madam Acting Deputy President, the clearest sign that the Coalition will honour the contract already signed, contrary to everything those opposite say, the clearest sign that we will honour contracts already signed is that after many months of delay and inaction under the previous government, NBN Co, as I mentioned, have agreed with Vision Stream to remobilise their workforce before Christmas. We are honouring the contracts, but contracts do require both sides to perform. And it would only be a government that was irresponsible, and we know what an irresponsible government looks like, that would agree to honour contracts at any cost. Now, I've got to be clear. The Coalition never promised to deliver fibre to the premises at any cost. That would be reckless. That would be irresponsible. We are getting on with the job of putting the rollout back on track. We are ensuring that there are workers out in the field undertaking this important endeavour. Now, I'm sure that Senator Bushby will touch a little more on some of the issues like the overhead wiring proposals and the work with Aurora and the trial that has been proposed. But I just want to come back to where I started, Madam Acting Deputy President. We've always got to remember that these are taxpayer dollars. Government has no source of funds other than those that come from the taxpayer. And government always has to make sure that every dollar that it expends, that it's received from the taxpayers and that it expends on behalf of the taxpayers, goes to the most productive and beneficial use possible. The previous government were not doing that. And there is an opportunity cost for every single dollar that government spends. That's a dollar that can't be spent on something else. It can't be spent on schools, can't be spent on hospitals, can't be spent on roads. So you've got to make sure that you make every dollar count. But the previous government, not only were they wasting the dollars that they were spending, they were borrowing massively, which means we have a massive interest bill. And the opportunity cost of the money that is spent on servicing the interest bill is even greater, because that's a dollar that's going towards precisely nothing other than repaying a debt. So on this side of the chamber, we make absolutely no apology for wanting to make sure that the taxpayer exposure through the NBN is less. We want to make sure that the NBN is rolled out quicker. And I've got to say, wouldn't be hard to roll out an NBN quicker than those guys on the other side did. And we want to make sure that the final product is there in a way that's affordable for consumers. So for the people of Tasmania, but the people of Australia more generally, you'll get the NBN sooner under this government, you'll get it at lower taxpayer cost, and it'll be cheaper than would have been the case, and you will have the quality of service, you'll have the level of service that you need.
Senator Whish-Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Acting Deputy President.